It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report special commentary section here in our member section. And today we're going to be talking about being there, Doug Caddy, being there, eyewitness to history, my commentary on this little interview. It's the first part of this interview. I'm going to get him back for sure. I had no idea what he was going to tell me about Robert Merritt and all that kind of stuff. So let me give you a little background here. I don't know who I got to tell you who it was. I just remembered. It was my interview with Jim Rothstein. And Jim Rothstein told me, you got to get a hold of Robert Merritt and do an interview with him. It's the first interview I did with and he says, because he knew Shoffley, the cop who was out in front of the Watergate. He was an informant for him. So I went looking around trying to get a hold of Robert Merritt. And I spoke to quite a few people trying to locate him, get his phone number. And these are people who dealt with him before. One person was Doug Caddy, who said to me, well, I don't find him to be a credible person anymore. Another person was Chris Milligan. I don't find him to be a credible person. But they helped me get in touch with him. We did an interview with him, and then I did an interview with Doug Caddy right around that same time. Now, you got to listen to the interview with Robert Merritt. By the way, Robert Merritt has a little problem with me, too. He was saying that I didn't let him talk about everything he wanted to talk about. But I think I just wanted to focus on Watergate that day, and I'll have him back. I thought we got along fine. But afterwards, someone called him up and he said, well, Ed Opperman didn't let me say what I want to say. But now you got to listen to this whole interview with Merritt, because there's a whole nother underlying issue with Merritt and homosexuality and problems with all of this and guilt and things that are deep in all this as well. So you got to listen to that whole show. Now, Doug Caddy, okay, a lot of times I'll have a guest on a show, and because the way I'll contact them is through Facebook, and then we wind up being Facebook friends, and right away you find out that the person's either a jerk or they're crazy. Sometimes you find out that they're crazy. Like Arnie Lerma. Remember Arnie Lerma from the Scientology guest? I like him. Nice guy. But he just started acting wacky on Facebook, and I just, I said, listen, I can't deal with this guy anymore. I got to get rid of him. Although, fine guy. Then it turns out, he shot himself in the head, and he shot his wife. The guy was having problems. Okay. Doug Caddy is not that kind of guy whatsoever, man. This is a sober guy, man, who's very sober thinking and commentary. And I don't know what to tell you. So when he comes out and says this kind of stuff, I got to listen to it or wonder. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have Doug Caddy back, and we're gonna talk about what's going on here with this situation with Trump and Russia and him contacting Comey and Mueller. I'd like to see what's going on with that, because I have my own things going on here as well behind the scenes that I'm wondering how come Mueller is not looking into. I'll tell you. I just recently spoke to someone very intimately involved in the lawsuit, the lawsuit, the Epstein-Trump lawsuit with Katie Doe. And I asked them, hey, have you been contacted by the Mueller investigators? And they said no. Okay, that's a fact. Which is suspicious to me. Because I know there's enough dirt there to look into. Now, back to Doug Caddy, though I'm being there. This is a fascinating guy. Go back and listen to my first interview with Doug Caddy, where we talk about his involvement with Watergate from the very start. Now, and the guy's been around more CIA agents than anybody in the world. You know what I mean? So how he could say he's not, I don't know. But And also, too, he's known a lot of people involved in the Kennedy assassination. I don't even know where I'm going with all this, man. I'm just like totally in shock here from hearing this tale. I'm going to get back to him. Am I making any sense? Probably not. Let's see what I have here in my notes. Yeah, I spoke to both James Hunt and St. John Hunt. Both coincidentally named Hunt, but one is the nephew of Frank Sturgis, and one is the son of E. Howard Hunt. And neither one of them had anything to say about this alien presence being a motivation for the Kennedy assassination. I've never talked to Jim Rothstein about that. It never occurred to me to bring that up with Jim Rothstein. But I'd love to get him back on that. But it seems to me that the only source of this information is Robert Merritt, that he met Nixon. You know, like, I don't know, man. Like, if people had problems with his credibility before, and now he comes out saying he met Nixon, and Nixon's taping a letter to his chest and stuff like that, to me, I don't know. I got to tell you, I found Robert Merritt to be credible in the things we discussed. And I think if you listen to the interview, I even think I had to keep him on point. If he's the only source of this information about Nixon taping a letter to his chest, and that he has a source in the White House now that's telling him that Trump got into a wrestling match over some letter, you know, I find that I cannot buy that at all. I gotta tell you, I cannot buy that at all. And I don't. If Doug's listening to this, Doug Caddy's listening to this, I don't want to offend you, man. Okay, you know, but I just can't. Maybe I'm out of the loop on this one. Maybe I'm just completely out of the loop. I don't know, man. Because I got to tell you something. You know, before, no one interviewed Robert Merritt before I did. I don't think the guy had any interviews. Maybe 20 years ago, whatever. Doug Caddy didn't do a lot of interviews, radio interviews. When I went looking for shows, to do my research on these guys, there weren't any interviews out there before I found these people and started interviewing them. So, how all this comes up now is beyond me. So, I guess that's the plan now. I'll have Doug Caddy back. We'll ask him some more questions. All right, and then I'll have Rothstein back, too, and ask him about all this, and then I'll have Merritt back. You know, what am I going to do? But I'm just flabbergasted here. More ways than one. Let me see. I'll play a little commercial. Maybe I'll think of something else to comment here, but I'm a little kerflumped. Check out cartking.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, cartking.com can be the answer to your needs. Cartking.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee and food carts and kiosks money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal.